So as a songwriter, it can be really overwhelming to think about all of the things that you have to do in order to be successful. One of my favorite quotes in this regard is that you need to eat the elephant one bite at a time. In other words, by imagining this thing as little, simple, bite-sized pieces, it's amazing how much you can get done over an extended period of time. One of the first things that I highly recommend, especially since it's not all that much fun, is to do one business thing every day. One of the things that I would highly recommend against is saving up tasks until it just feels overwhelming. Like you tell yourself, oh, Saturday I'll spend 5 hours and work on my songwriting career. Well, the reality is that you're probably not going to end up with 5 hours on Saturday to do it. But if you wake up every day and do just a little something, it really adds up. These little actions at the end of the year, you will have done hundreds and hundreds of things on behalf of your songwriting career. So really think about it as, I know that the songwriting business side of things isn't much fun, but I'm going to do one little thing a day. That could be one phone call to a music publisher. It could be scheduling a demo. Anything. As long as you are doing something every day, you'll get things done and you'll also develop some nice momentum. Another thing that you can do is to join, or if there isn't one nearby, start a songwriting group. This is a really great way of staying accountable. You guys can give each other weekly assignments. You can do a lot of things to just sort of keep each other motivated and focused. This is also a wonderfully safe place to give and receive constructive criticism. I mentioned this earlier, but really make a commitment to each other in the group, not to be mean-spirited, but constructive. Songs in their very early vulnerable stages can absolutely be shut down by one inappropriate comment. So as I was saying, if there isn't a songwriting group in your area, that's absolutely not an excuse not to start one. You can meet other songwriters at open mics or gigs or music stores where you can put up an announcement. Try a site like meetup.com, where for a little fee you can establish a group that others can find by searching in your area. In other words, don't let the fact that there isn't a nearby songwriting group be any kind of a stumbling block or prevent you from continuing to create a songwriting group on your own. This next piece of advice is, I think, really, really important because I made this mistake early on. The piece of advice is, don't wait for a publishing deal to act like you have one. And what I mean by this is, if you're sitting there thinking, if only I had a publishing deal, I could write every day and make demos and get my songs pitched, I would humbly submit that you've got it backwards. You need to be doing all of those things for yourself before most publishers will even be remotely interested in you. If you can show a publisher that you've got a body of work, quality demos, and maybe even a cut or two, you are way, way more attractive to them than you would be if you just showed up and you were talented. Look, at the end of the day, and I regret to inform you, talent is the least common denominator. So it's all of the stuff that you have to do outside of being talented that will really set you apart. Remember how I talked about doing one business thing every day? Well, you should also pitch one of your songs every week. I mentioned this earlier. Having great songs and beautiful recordings of them does not mean anything if you don't get these songs out in the world. I have referenced pitch listing services and networking in the What to Do When Your Song is Finished section of this course, but really make sure that you pitch a song in some way, shape, or form every week. If you do this, at the end of a year, you will have made 52 song pitches. That's significant. That is real effort, and there will be results if you make those kinds of efforts consistently week after week, year after year. Here's another something that I think fits under the category of we're not just flighty artist types. If you're trying to make a career as a songwriter, reply promptly to any opportunity, no matter how small it is. Early in your career, big opportunities are probably going to be scarce. It's not like you're going to get a call from Capitol Records saying, can you please come in and write a song with our star? But you never know when a small opportunity will lead to a bigger one. So anytime that you are given any responsibility, respond promptly. And what will happen is maybe you'll respond to this little thing and nothing will come of it. But at the very least, you will get a reputation for being responsive and dependable. If you act like a pro and take your songwriting and the business of songwriting seriously, people will take you seriously.